Complied so much on the test, it stopped evil boss from profiling employees.
TLDR. It ruined my boss personality test. He pretended would be anonymous, but we knew he was going to use it to profile employees he didn't like. Story had an evil middle manager boss who eventually lost 1/3 of the team in under 3 months. I had been there longer than him before his position was built out. He was a really gross one, like psychological abuse, and also openly commented on the 16-year-old celebrity being hot when was 36. Anyway, when he was onboarded, he pretty quickly assessed which employees he couldn't bully and started trying to make our lives harder. He started doing some anonymous reviews and tests. Not surprisingly, some anonymous feedback was super negative for the people on his shift list, even if we were high-performing or project leads. I finally had enough of attempting to talk it out head-on. He always denied everything and even once actually asked me if I was on drugs WTF during a one-on-one. This was Slash, is a hugely famous tech company. Anyway, he decided it was time for another round of anonymous testing. This time a personality test. I answered every question imagining I was him. Every single one. To nobody's surprise, he was like, surprised we are going to all reveal and see which result we have on the screen now, yeah. I matched him perfectly. The only one. He got the absolute psychopath result, but it also says like entrepreneur and celebrity, so he would have been thrilled, but he knew we were very different, yet somehow we had the exact same result. Out of like 20 plus possibilities. When he pulled up the results on screen, his face dropped. He stared directly at me, immediately breaking the character who was excited for sharing the secret results. I watched him choke down his anger as he pretended to go down the list, now unprepared. Every other sentence out of his mouth suddenly was how unreliable these tests can be and that you never know. As he dug his haul deeper, explaining backwards regarding this time-wasting team-wide meeting for a stupid exercise originally intended to single out some folks based upon a personality test, I finally found my opportunity. I smiled at him. I smiled with eye contact. No words, everything was said there. I watched him die inside, and he still had to fill 25 minutes of his stupid meeting or call it off. I have another malicious compliance story about him. He was an absolute clown. I bet I have more if I think harder, but this is my fave quiet little moment where I ruined his total concept of self in 1 second by doing exactly what asked of me, waste my time to take his stupid personality test. ETA typos. ETA 2 I may have joyfully shouted ye boss name. 4 twains. What a beautiful moment. And #200B. I had one of those. I was an X-ray tech at an army hospital in the 80s. My boss had posted a sheet for us to record our repeat X-rays. Most techs forgot to record half of theirs, but I added extra tick marks to my tally each day. This was pre-computer days, so there was no way for management to know. At our next team meeting, my boss stood and reviewed the results. He announced that Coder Joan had the highest repeat rate in the entire department. He asked me to stand and explain myself. I stood and glibly announced, "I don't pass shitty films," and sat back down. My boss nearly choked before he had to commend my high standards and encourage everyone else to be as diligent as I was. They stopped recording our repeat films after that. And for you. I think I'm missing something. Why was he showing individual results? Why did it matter if the results sounded like they were him and not you? I smiled with eye contact. You are a motherfucking psychopath. I love you, you are a legend. In the 1960s, I worked at an aerospace company, Rocketdyne, in Canoga Park, California, in the IT department. One year, management decided to have the workers evaluate themselves for their annual review. We all made what we thought was an honest appraisal of ourselves. Management then used a red pencil/pen to mark down what we had marked. The next year, we all used red pencil/pen and marked the highest rating for each item. That was the last time self-appraisal was used. I'm not sure I understand this and why the boss is so upset.